What is up, YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and right now you're looking at some fan art for the brand new series. All of these graphics were made by subscribers, and I think they were really well done, and I definitely want to thank each and every one of them. If you guys want to, go ahead and post in the comment section below. I plan on using these graphics throughout the entire series, and like I said, I probably will switch back and forth between them. This series is something that I mentioned a little while back, and the basic concept is, I will take subscriber suggested teams, and then I'm going to make an episode featuring 2 to 3 of these teams. That way we can move through them much faster than Team Spotlight. This will allow me to get back to showing my own teams for the Team Spotlight series, but I still will select one suggested team once a month to be featured in a Team Spotlight episode. This first episode is going to show the basic setup for the series, but since I have to pretty much set the entire series up in this episode, I'll only be able to fit 2 teams in this one. Most episodes will feature 3 different team-ups. Now just one last note, if your team-up includes a team name, I will try to mention that in the video. And lastly, if you have a weapon and gadget setup suggested for the team, I will try my best to duplicate it. But I don't have every weapon and gadget in the game. Also, actually in the case of this video, if there are multiple suggestions of the same team, I will try to incorporate weapons and items from both of the setups. And that's pretty much it as far as explaining the series. But I will have a very important note at the end. Now in the background footage you'll notice our very first team up, and it's Phoenix and Emma Frost. This is definitely a classic team up, and I knew it would do really well because it's been proven many times in PvP. These are 2 of the best characters ever to be introduced in the game, and right now they're as powerful as ever since there is a very bad bug in the game. Basically, single target buffs affect the entire team, and this goes for unlocked potential as well. So we're going to take a look at just how powerful they are once we get into the PvP combat. And this is the very last enemy in PvE, and then we're going into the battle. Now as we start this battle, you may notice that Phoenix has turned into P5 Blaster Phoenix, and that wasn't on purpose. In fact, she's supposed to be White Crown Infiltrator, and even after reloading the game, they still load up the blaster. It's pretty frustrating, but I just went with it. At least they have a bruiser on their team, so it actually may work out. You'll notice that the enemy team has really high stats, and they have Quicksilver. But on our team, we're using the Power Cell Mark III, the Void Generator, the Emerald Prism, and the Warbringer Axe. So let's take a look at what this Emerald Prism can do in PvP. And you'll also note that it affects the whole team, but that's of course due to the bug that's going on in the game. So that should be changed at some point. For now, it's going to make our team pretty ridiculous, and that's mainly due to the increased defense, and the enemy Quicksilver is going to accelerate that really fast. Also because of this bug, Mind Link and Unlock Potential will apply to the entire team. Also, when a member dies, Death and Rebirth will proc for everyone as well, and heal your entire team. So it's practically chaos going on in the game right now. But the show must go on, so let's put Mental Anguish on Quicksilver, and then we'll wait and see what the enemy does. There's the full team Mind Link, and now Phoenix will try to use Telekinesis, which our Phoenix takes. It doesn't look like she's stunned, and she does get increased defense. Now let's see what happens on Quicksilver's turn. He uses Tag Team. That hits our entire team a bunch of times, and there you see a ton of increased defense. So we're already going to be taking a lot less damage, and pretty soon we'll be almost impossible to hurt. And then he uses Vortex Lariat, and you see a ton of increased defense stacks. So at this point we're going to be just about invincible, and you'll see just how little damage we take later. On Phoenix's turn, we're going to blast. Well, first let's look at these increased stats. And you saw pretty much how amazing they are right now. We have a huge boost to attack and defense, as well as accuracy. But we're going to go ahead and hit their agent, and that does 58,000, so that's quite a bit of damage. Now you see Death and Rebirth proc for the entire team, so that can be a nuisance right now as well. After their agent used Hotshot, we were hoping that Emma Frost wasn't stunned. And that's because we want to take out their agent before Phoenix can use Phoenix Fire. But she was stunned, unfortunately. So we're hoping for Cosmic Power, and we got the proc. So let's use Mental Trauma. That does massive damage, and it would have killed Quicksilver as well if it wasn't for that Death and Rebirth proc on the entire team. Now watch this Phoenix Fire. It doesn't even do 1,000 damage, and that's because of our crazy increased defense. The Emerald Prism is pretty awesome, but it's absolutely ridiculous when it applies to the whole team. Now our only problem right here is Soulfire did knock off our increased defense. At least on Phoenix down there. So Quicksilver's doing huge damage to her, and he is going to end up proccing Death and Rebirth. That's going to heal our entire team, and we'll be able to use Phoenix Fire as soon as it's her turn. On our agent's turn, we're going to use the Power Cell Mark III, and then the Void Generator. So let's see what kind of damage we can do, and also how big that shield is. We're going to hit Phoenix, and we will double attack her since we're a scrapper. You also saw that the shield's hit points was over 20,000. And just imagine that with the Emerald Prism, you could make it so that it couldn't be removed. Of course it can be bypassed, and that'll always be a problem. Now this next team was suggested quite a few times, and that's to use the two Hulks together. Now for our items, we combined two of the item sets that were recommended. This team goes by various names including Team Smash and Team Gamma Gang. And by the way, using the Gamma Booster along with the Emerald Prism is pretty outrageous. The Gamma Booster increases attack and accuracy when hit by enemy attacks, and it stacks up to 3 times. It's usually only on one ally, but with the bug, it applies to the whole team. Then the Emerald Prism increases attack and defense, and it stacks as well. But it also ensures that you keep your Gamma Rage, and that's because your beneficial effects cannot be removed. So basically, since this is applying to your whole team, and the Gamma Booster applies to your whole team, it really equals ridiculous stats and crazy attack damage. So it's really obvious that they need to fix this bug before they release the next PvP season. The fact that Red Hulk is a tactician comes in really handy, as you'll see against these 2 blasters that are left. We'll use Searing Smash on the first one, and then we'll use the Bunker Buster on the second one. And that does over 17k, which is a pretty nice hit in PvE. Now this next PvP battle was really tough, mainly due to the turn order. The opponents get the first 3 attacks, and that's really hard to fight back from. It's definitely going to be an uphill battle. Their Emma's going to be the first to start, and hopefully she doesn't use Unlock Potential on the whole team. Instead, she just uses Mental Trauma. Then by the looks of it, their agent is going to use the Hotshot. So hopefully he doesn't stun too many of my teammates. If Hulk does get a turn, he's going to do some serious damage to the enemies. By the way, it seems like these buffs are making battles last longer and longer, especially with Cyclops on the opponent's team. Just as I figured, he does use the Hotshot. So let's see how many characters he stuns. The funny thing that I noticed about the Hotshot is the fact that if you do stun everyone, and then Cyclops goes next, he may use the Mega Optic Blast, and that'll actually overwrite the stun. So Incapacitation will take over. And the thing is, it'll erase a guaranteed stun. That's especially problematic if he erases a guaranteed stun on someone like your agent, because then you can use the Scroll of Angalob and remove the stun from your entire team. So really, Cyclops can kind of work against the Hotshot. Now with our agent, we're going to use the Emerald Prism. We thought about using the Gamma Booster, but we may use that next turn instead. First, we want to make sure that none of our buffs can be removed. That's especially nice since we have 3 stacks of War Frenzy. With the Hulk, we're going to use his level 9 Titanic Hurl. So let's see how many enemies we can stun. And a lot of times this move will stun all 3 enemies. So it's really amazing. And once again it comes through with a triple stun. Now we might as well use another AoE attack. We'll go with the level 9 move from Red Hulk, the Gamma Bomb. That will put a bunch of nasty debuffs on the entire opposing team. So here we go with the Gamma Bomb. it does pretty decent damage. And there you see a number of debuffs going up on the entire team. He did put incapacitation on Cyclops though, and that's not so great. But maybe it'll even out in the future if it kicks in a few times. Now we have to hope that the other stuns don't get taken off by Cosmic Power. That's always a risk when P5 Emma Frost is standing across from you. But they didn't get Cosmic Power, only Cyclops gets a turn. And he did get Cosmic Power, so it wouldn't have mattered, and he hits our whole team with Mega Optic Blast. So that's kind of a problem. We have to really hope that incapacitation doesn't kick in on our team. First thing we need to do is probably attack Cyclops and finish him off. So we're thinking of hitting him with the Warbringer Axe. Alright, so let's go ahead and attack Cyclops, especially since he can't counterattack us. We're also thinking that their agent's going to die to debuffs, so we're not going to risk attacking him either. We're actually going to do a risky maneuver and use Bulwark on Red Hulk. So let's go ahead and use that. And now, unfortunately, Emma Frost uses Unlock Potential, which is definitely something I didn't want to see. Then she follows that up with a Mental Trauma. Luckily, that increases our defense by a ton, and that could actually win us the battle. Their agent still has his dots because of his weapons, and that is enough to finish him off. So now we only have to worry about Emma Frost. We'll hit her with the Warbringer Axe. Then we're going to get a follow-up attack. So now she's kind of vulnerable to damage, but she counterattacks, and there you see our increased defense. It lowered that damage by so much, and that's why we're not going to worry about her counterattacks. They shouldn't do that much damage to either one of our characters. Both of my characters do have Mental Anguish though, so we have to be careful when it is our turn. Now it's Emma's turn. She uses War Diamond. It does hardly any damage whatsoever, and then we did get stunned. Red Hulk takes his incapacitation at a really bad time. This battle was getting incredibly tense at the end. Emma Frost only hits for 207 damage, and that's because we're pretty much maxed out on that increased defense. Luckily our scroll is back up, so we'll take away Mental Anguish. And we're going to get an attack and a follow-up attack on Emma Frost. And that should be enough to finish her off and win the battle. So we started with really bad turn order, but we were still able to win. And at the end of every episode we decide to use this graphic. And that's because it gives us plenty of room to write the names of those who suggested a team for the episode. So I hope you guys like that surprise, and hopefully we can continue it in the future. I just have two more really important things to say. First, I'm trying to write down and keep track of all the suggestions, but I may have missed out on some that were done a long time ago. So if any of your teams show up that you did suggest and you don't see your name, just leave a comment in the section below. Don't get upset, I will include your name on this graphic in the very next episode. Secondly, I'm trying to do these in the order that they were suggested, so have some patience. I will try to get around to your team as soon as possible. As long as things don't get out of hand, I will continue this series, and I hope that you all enjoy it. Please leave your comments in the section below. If you liked the video, please leave a rating, and make sure to subscribe, and you may just see your team on the next episode of Subscriber Squads. Now there's only one last thing for me to do, and that's to thank you all for watching. I wish you good luck, and take care.